from UConn women's head coach Gino Auriemma, who's a Hall of Famer. And when talking to the media in advance of the women's Final Four, he said this: people give Tom Izzo a lot of grief for something he did on the sideline. His players loved that. He doesn't have to care what you think of it. He just has to care what his players think of it. The majority of coaches in America are afraid of their players. The NCAA, the athletic directors, society has made them afraid of their players. Every article you read, this guy's a bully, this woman's a bully, the guy went over the line, this woman was inappropriate. Yet the players get off scot-free and everything. They can do whatever they want. They don't like something you say to them, they transfer. Coaches, they have to coach with one hand behind their back. Why? Because some people have abused the role of a coach. So we'll take this to the table, but we will give the first comment to the Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas, for a variety of reasons, one of which is you played your college basketball for Bob Knight. Yeah. And there probably is no better example of the way coaching used to look than Bob Knight, who was one of the greatest coaches that ever lived. So when you hear this notion that coaches are coaching scared, what does it make you think?
I would say he's right, and I would say we're right on the cusp of another societal change. Now, you mentioned Bob Knight. You also got to put my mother in there, too. because the way my mother raised me and the way parenting was back then, you know, if my mother was parenting me today, you know, she may be in jail, right? You know, and the way coaching was back then and the way it's changing right before our eyes, I mean, you have to be kinder, nicer, and gentler with today's player. But from a coaching standpoint, I think that the player also has a certain amount of responsibility in terms of respecting that coach also.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing, the way this is evolving and changing? Is it good or bad for the players?
I think it's bad for the player. And here's why I think it's bad for the player. Because as a player and as someone who competes at a very high level, there's always something that's inside you that coach or that teacher has to bring out. I mean, very few people can get the best out of themselves. You need someone that's going to look at you and say, you know what, Greenie, I think there's a little bit more inside of you. You can run one more sprint. You can lift one more weight. You can make one more shot. I know you don't think you can, but you better than Jalen Rose, and I know you can guard him. And those are the things that coaches bring out of you. And sometimes they have to rub you the wrong way. Sometimes they have to tap you the wrong way to get you to play with that type of emotion, to play with that type of passion, to get a little angrier, or it's not all about love. Sometimes you need to use different emotions to get the best out of yourself. And sometimes anger, sometimes passion gets you to run a little faster, jump a little higher, play a little better defense.
And maybe in general be a little